Hi, I'm Norma. Welcome to my low carb channel. I help people who struggle with carbs and sugar go from feeling sluggish and overweight to feeling really good in their own skin so they can have a healthier lifestyle. I reverse the signs of prediabetes by eliminating sugar and going low carb, and I help share all my recipes here so that'll help you along your journey. And if that's something that you're interested in, then make sure that you subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell so you'll be notified. Today, what we're going to do is I'm going to take you in my kitchen and we are going to be making a high protein, low carb Meatza pizza made with chicken. The crust is solely made out of chicken. So it was an idea that I had in my head and we're going to give it a shot and see if it works. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, and today it worked, so I'm going to take you along with me. All right, so let's get started. So what prompted this recipe was I had some boneless, skinless chicken thighs in my refrigerator. And if I didn't do something with them, I was going to need to toss them. So I've seen this recipe done before, this Meatza pizza recipe, but I've only seen it done with shredded chicken or rotisserie chicken or canned chicken. You know, canned chicken you can get in the tuna section. It comes in cans. So first of all, I wanted to measure out my chicken to see just how much I had. And I had about a little over 4 ounces here. So I was determined to see if this was going to work. What I did was I went ahead and just started chopping it up. And since this recipe, like I said, I've seen it done and it's been successful with shredded chicken, I went ahead and decided that I'm just going to chop it as fine as I can. So I continued chopping it. Just make sure that you have a very nice sharp knife and just chop away. And as soon as you think that you might have it chopped thin enough, then you just even chop a little bit more. And I did that with both of the thighs. Went ahead and just kept chopping until they were pretty minced, till the meat was pretty much all the same, even consistency. As you can see, that's what it ended up looking like. And then I poured it all into a bowl. And what we're going to do is we're going to add to our chicken mixture, we're going to add 1 egg. And then we're going to add in about 1/4 cup of cheese. You can use any cheese. Parmesan cheese, mozzarella cheese works here. And a little bit of salt and pepper. And then some Italian seasoning. So let me go back to the salt and pepper. I didn't even need to salt and pepper it because I had forgotten that I had already cooked this chicken and it was already pre-seasoned. So I didn't need to add the salt and pepper. So just be aware, if you're using seasoned chicken already, then you don't need to do that. I am going to be using my air fryer for this recipe, and I have a very tiny little air fryer. So I didn't think that the meat was going to hold well on the basket, on the air fry basket all alone. So I'm going ahead and I'm using a piece of parchment paper as a liner, and then I'm shaping my pizza crust and making sure that it's all even thicknesses. And then you're going to lay it, I laid it into my air fry basket. Now, if you have, you don't have an air fry basket, then certainly place it on a vented pizza tray. I would probably use a vented pizza tray and not a baking sheet because you want the bottom of the crust to get cooked as well. And that was one concern that I had here using the air fryer. I didn't know if the bottom was going to get cooked or not. So I set it at 400 for about 10 minutes. And meanwhile, while that's cooking, I went ahead and sliced up some tomatoes, and I'm chiffonading, I think it's called chiffonade, when you roll up your basils and you slice it. And then we're making basil strips to go on top of our pizza when it's all finished cooking. After 10 minutes, that's what this looks like. So it's looking pretty brown. So the idea was to check and see if the bottom was cooked enough or not. So I picked it up, and looking at the bottom, underneath that paper, it looks like it needs to be cooked a little longer. So I took the paper off, and it was able to sit on its own on the rack for a few more minutes until it got a little bit more toasted. And that was perfect. So I cooked it probably for a total of about 15 minutes in the air fryer. It might cook a little bit longer in the oven. You could top it with whatever you want. Basil, you could do basil pesto. You could just use a marinara sauce or whatever your favorite topping is. I had an artichoke antipasto that I used. And then you go ahead and top it with your tomatoes, a little bit more mozzarella cheese, and then put it back in the air fryer for just a couple of minutes until it gets melted. And then there it is. And then you want to top it with your slices of basil and cut it into 4 individual slices. And look at the bottom of that crust. It really is crispy, and it holds together really well, just like a pizza dough. And it's so high in protein. It's all protein right there. It tastes so good. You guys really need to give it a try and use any type of chicken that you want. Enjoy.